ISO. Dama.
Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Hey, it's too many lies, too many lies. Yo, it's too many. Hey, it's too many. Yo, it's too many. Yo,
It's too many lies, look in my eyes, they know I'm the truth.
they know that.
Knocking them down every time I step in the booth. We ain't gotta lie, they know we the vibe, we living in proof. It's young conscious, you my life a movie, I live in a spoof. Ain't no sticking
Yo,
around,
what's
I'm
up?
on
It's
the
a
move,
B-Side
checking
Podcast
the
251
doses,
edition.
only us two, so you know
What
we
up?
copping that coupe.
We back again,
We
people.
on the
Back
road,
again
smoking
with
dope,
another
look
great
at
show
the
for you
view.
today.
Used to chill on the stoop, now we
So,
out
what's
here
up, my
breaking
boy?
it
How you
down.
been?
Shit you really
Man, I've been
could do.
chilling, bro.
We
We
ain't got
just,
nothing to lose. We ain't switch sides
been
with no rules.
grinding,
We just
you know,
stayed out
doing
of
our
the
thing,
loop.
bro.
I'm gonna hit you with a number real quick. 305.
305?
305.
Is Miami?
Yes, sir. We got 305 days till we go to Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I forgot about all that.
Yeah, 305.
What's up?
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to our sponsor, our official sponsor, He Tough, She Tough Clothing. The official sponsor, you know, Marcus ain't here this week. He's slanging shirts.
Once again.
We
Out there helping
respect
them
the
baby.
grind, man.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you start a business. You gotta sometimes take a step back and focus on your business. But hey,
But we got you here, brother.
we
got
miss you, bro.
Yeah.
We miss you. I ain't gonna lie, we miss you. But hey, it is what it is. But we have a special guest today.
Yes, we do. Very special guest.
Y'all been having, you know, questions about, oh, the police can't do this, police can't do that. Well, we got 12 right here. They're gonna answer all their questions for you. We have Assistant District Attorney, Miss Crummie.
Welcome to the
Katrisa
show.
Crummie.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, man. How you
ADA.
doing? ADA. How you doing today?
I'm here. It's hot.
I know.
Yeah.
But let me let you know. I'm gonna let you know now. I do have a somewhat degree in law from Harvard because I've been watching Suits with my wife.
You said
So I-
somewhat degree.
somewhat
I was like, this
degree.
ain't going nowhere good.
Somewhat degree. I know a little bit because me and my wife been watching Suits. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody that watch that series Suits feel like they know a little bit about the law.
TV is not real.
Cause Harvey, I know he's a fictional character, but I would want him in my corner every time.
TV
Every
is
time.
not reality.
I know
you
it
said
ain't.
it don't go down like
It
that?
don't go down like that.
Not
Well,
at
I'm glad
all.
you here to break it down because, like I said, I got a semi-degree from the University of Netflix Law School. And, you know, I think I know a little bit about mergers.
as I call it, the Hard Knock School of Law.
Yeah, the hard knock school of law.
Hey,
I-
she's saying just because you watch the show, don't go out here and create
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do a crime thing. You gonna get off because you watch it on TV because
yeah,
that's fake.
that's fake.
That's fake.
That's
Oh,
fake.
So we welcome to have you. She hit us up in the inbox like, yeah, y'all need to talk about the judicial system. I was like, you know what?
We really do.
That is a good topic. So she is here to educate us on all things or some things that she can talk about. She can't talk about everything.
Cause
Not
she,
everything.
Yeah.
she's very important, people. Very important.
First of all, I want to ask about this ADA. So how many assistant district attorneys or district attorneys there are in, you know, the city of Mobile or any city?
Well, for our office is just composed of Mobile County. Throughout the state, there's about 45 judicial circuits. I might be off by one or two. There's an ADA, or excuse me, a DA for each of those circuits. So that's the main prosecutor for each of those circuits. Some circuits are, you know, just one county. Some of them can be multiple counties, you know.
Okay.
Dallas, Wilcox, they're all in I believe it's another county. They're all one circuit. They have one DA, but it's 3 counties.
So they broken up in
They're
districts.
broken.
Okay, then.
But just Mobile, we're just one big circuit, one big county. And the reason why we're the biggest in the state is because Jefferson County, where Birmingham is split into 2.
Okay.
So there's the Birmingham division, the Bessemer division. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
because they're split, we are the biggest circuit in the
See,
state.
we ain't know that. We
I
just
ain't know
thought
that.
you know, get your luck of the draw and then you get who you get. So that's,
In my lifetime, I only known 2 DAs. That was John Tyson
right.
and Ashley Rich.
Right.
And to be honest with you, growing up,
John Tyson.
John Tyson
the
put
bulldog.
the fear of God in me because I would not want to go up against him for nothing. That man literally put the fear of God in me because I liked him as a DA because he didn't play with nobody.
Right.
And then I got to be Ashley Rich one time when I was doing the grand jury. She said, "Ooh, who is that smelling good up here with that good food?" I was like, "Oh, this is me." And I got to speak to her, and she came to presenting the case to us too.
Ashley Rich tried to raise you.
I don't know. She was very like John Tyson. She was very intimidating for a female.
Right.
But I spoke to her. She was very nice, but I didn't want to meet you in the courtroom either.
Right.
Lady. But those two are the only two I knew. Now you got DA Keith Blackwood. I'm sorry.
So is there well, apparently is. So is it like assistant district attorney and then it's the district attorney? How do you get to the district attorney? I know we have like elections, so that's the only way. You can't just be appointed.
The only way you're appointed is if the DA steps down. Just like for judges in the state of Alabama or any other position that's elected, if you step down, the governor will appoint somebody. But
Okay.
you still got to run for your seat whenever that seat is up.
Okay, so does the workload for the district attorney, is it different from the assistant district attorney, or they handle like the same, or did they just do the big cases?
Yeah, the big cases usually are going to be the DA.
Okay.
But for those of us who are ADAs, we each have a courtroom. So there's district court, circuit court. District court, no juries. We just do bench trials, meaning the judge is the one who makes a decision. Circuit court is where you have the 12 folks in the box making a decision on whether or not, you go to prison or you don't.
Right.
And we have 2 ADAs that handle each circuit courtroom. So there's 8 courtrooms, 16 ADAs that just do circuit court, just do bench trials.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Talking to the microphone.
Oh, my bad.
So who is the next in command behind the DA now?
So it's a chief assistant ADA, and that's Jennifer Sussman. I've actually known Jennifer and Keith for a very, very long time. So I was very happy to come back this year for the third time.
The third time the charm.
Yeah, third time the charm, and work for the office. I had previously been there from 2011 to 2016. I left, came back in 2017, left in 20, and then came back this year. So hopefully this is good.
Well, you came back at a crucial time in the city because of all you see is so much gun violence in the city of Mobile. It's like, I have a young son, and my biggest fear is him getting caught up in the system because, I know he's not, but that's just my fear because I have a black son in America these days, and anything could happen that he get caught up in some foolishness.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get caught up in that system, and it's like, you in there, they got you.
Right.
They got you. You're like, man.
One of the things I love to do, and I've done my entire career, is I go speak at schools. Some of it is just me just doing it on my own. Some of it is doing on behalf of the office. And one of the things that I have spoken about recently is gun violence, especially among young folks. And I, tell stories of all the cases we've all heard in the news of kids, wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
The bullets were not meant for them.
Yep.
We've had recent tragedies here in the city where, people are being hurt, killed, who are innocent victims of somebody else's foolishness. And that is a message that I don't preach to those kids. I preach it in my house, to my stepson. You cannot, we're not worried about what you will do. We're worried about what other people will do.
Right.
And so when we say, hey, you can't go there right now, you can't do this, you can't do that. And for me, I tell him that I'm not just telling you this just to tell you, I'm telling you from experience. I know those cases, I know those streets, I know those locations, I know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
You don't need to be over there. So for me personally, it's a mission and a crusade almost to just say, hey, look, make better decisions, but not only make better decisions, think ahead.
Right.
Talk it through. Go through the whole process of, if I did this, what could happen?
Yeah.
So with the rise of gun violence, I don't know if it's a rise, it's more of a magnifying glass on the amount of it right now. Do you think our laws are too lenient, or is just not? It's what do you think the issue is?
So I'll say this: I think that we can always do better, and we can't prosecute our way out of gun violence. It's going to take a cultural shift,
Right.
for that to happen. And I don't know how that cultural shift is going to happen.
Beat the ass. That's what's going.
We talk about how when we were younger, we would fight it out.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. You step on my shoe, you disrespect me, you do whatever.
I'm gonna shoot you. Yeah.
It's over with. All this is a bullet, and I don't know where that cultural shift started.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to end
I think
it.
we had a culture shift recently in Montgomery when we went from gun violence to chair violence. So I think there's a shift. I'd rather get knocked in the head with a chair than get shot personally.
I agree.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know about y'all, but in my personal opinion, that was a great moment for me to see us You laughing, but I'm serious. It's finally we out instead of majority
Instead
just
of
standing.
guns, it's like, okay, it's a
Yeah.
fist fight.
It's a fist fight,
sure,
man. We
you
came
know.
Yeah, but
together.
it was against the wrong people though. I mean, if we could pick up a chill against Ray, you know, it'd be good.
Yeah,
We'd be
but
better to run.
Right.
But I feel it's a shift, you know. Put
It's
put
definitely
guns
a
down,
shift.
chairs up.
Because like, this is my personal thinking. I think it's not enough.
Black fathers.
That too, but I don't think it's enough repercussions of it. I mean, right now it seems like, okay, I shoot somebody, I go to jail 5-10 years, and that's it. I mean, until you make an example out of somebody, or maybe these kids these days just don't think, you know.
A lot of them just, they've grown up with it. Aunts, uncles, cousins,
Yeah.
brothers, sisters, moms, and dads have been in and out the system, in and out of Metro. So by the time they get to be 16, 17, they quote unquote know the system and know how it works because, you know, they've had relatives and friends go through it themselves and kind of give their stories. And so they don't think it's that bad, it's that hard because, you know, my
He
dad-
survived it,
Right.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
made
yeah,
it,
I can
she
do it
made
too.
They could do it, man.
And, you know, I can't. It really irritates me sometimes to hear people say, you know, oh, well, I'll just sit down my 5 years.
Yeah,
I'll just
that's-
sit down.
that's
And I'm just
crazy.
like, do you not understand the amount of life you lose
What, in 5
in that
years?
amount of time?
Do they still have the jail visit? Because I remember when we was in, like, I was coming up, our church went to Metro, and bro, this changed my life from day one. We went there, and they like walked us through the entire jail, and they like, it was kind of like the Scared Straight program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like had us go in there with the inmates. They were like beating on the wall. Hey, you bring a little sweet ass up in here. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that. Like, do they still have it these days? Or
So
no?
they don't have. Apparently, research has recently shown that doesn't really work. Which I guess you know,
I
depends on
went-
how you look at it. But if you ever go to Metro and it's not you going in to serve some time, but you just go to
Just to visit.
experience,
Yeah.
that's something that you'll
Yeah, it
never
ain't no-
forget. It's the smell that
Everything.
will never go away.
Metro is
Look,
not a
look.
joke.
No, it's not.
We had to do it for the grand jury. We had to go to Metro
Yep.
and give our opinion.
Yep.
You ever heard steel hit steel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that for the first time. That lady like scared the shit out you, didn't it? Hell yeah. I can't do this, lady. I'm free. I don't want to be up and out.
Yeah.
You in this
It's
little
the
room.
meals, it's the smell, it's the people.
And then hear them doors close, clang, and you know I'm in
that's
here
it.
for 15,
Yeah.
20
That's it.
years. Man, I was like, can we please go? I need fresh air.
Well,
See, that's why I make good decisions.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That's not me.
that's what a lot of our people lacking these days.
Is good
decision
decision
making.
making.
Because
Yep.
it's impulse right
Yeah.
now. And then it's like, well, I ain't mean to after the fact. You doing your
Like
your perk walk looking stupid.
perfect example. I tell people, you know, what's the difference between me hitting you and then me hitting you and leaving a bruise? You know what the difference is?
What's the difference?
A year versus 90 days.
Wow.
That's the difference. And people just their minds are blown when they're like, really? Yes, if I hit you, that's a harassment. That's 90 days max. But if I assault you, leave a bruise or a mark or
That's 1 year
injury,
in prison.
that could be
1
up
year.
to a year in jail. That's an assault. So, or if it's more serious than that, if you use a knife, you're going up to
Assault
assault
with a
second.
dick. Ooh.
That's a felony. So, you know, it's little minute things that make the difference between I'm just going to sit down for my 90 days versus a year versus 2 to 20.
Yeah.
And people just don't, again, like I said earlier, you think ahead, think all the way through a decision, and you think,
Well, I did not know if I hit you, I'm going to do 90 days. I'm going to be waiting. You know, if I hit this nigga, I get 90 days. But I can't hit him hard enough because I might leave a bruise.
Right.
and that could be assault.
That's assault. So I'm going to ask you, got a bruise? I'm laughing, making jokes about it, but there's nothing
It's
funny.
serious.
It's
It's not.
serious
It's-
because, be honest with you, black people are sentenced to, I ain't gonna say my opinion, are sentenced harsher than our counterparts for the same crime. Why is that?
I know that's a prevailing theory, and I do see the research where that has happened, but I will say just for us in our office, and especially me and what I do, none of that really factors in for me. And I tell victims this, I tell defense attorneys, defendants this all the time. It for me is what is justice. So sometimes justice looks like I'm going for the max. I'm trying to make sure that, you know, you are held accountable, whatever that looks like. Or it could be, okay, probation. There's some mitigating circumstances in this issue too. Hey, I don't know if my victim is really telling the truth. So let's just say, we're not going to prosecute this because I don't ethically feel comfortable doing it.
Okay.
So, and I've had run the gamut my entire career doing stuff just like that. I've done adult cases, I've done kids, I've done, everything. And all of that.
Which courtroom do you work in? You say you got bench trial and which one do you work
So
in?
currently I'm in district court, so that's the lower level court. That's the court where you do bench trials only. The judge makes a decision based on the evidence.
Be the worst one.
Yeah.
No, to be honest with you, I like district court. I've always liked it because it's kind of the ground level. You're going in, everything is on the table. So I'm dealing with the felonies that are eventually going to go up, as we call it in the building, upstairs. So we deal with the felonies that go upstairs. When we deal with the stuff in district court that has to stay there. So that's misdemeanors. That's, lower level offenses, petty offenses that we kind of have to deal with there and resolve there. And those can make a mark and make a difference too. It's not just the felonies.
Is it depending on the judge or how he feeling that day, or you might just...
Now, I'll say this, if you come in and you act a fool...
Oh, yeah.
They going to give you the same energy, huh?
It's never going to... Energy will match energy that day.
Wow.
But I've had folks that have come in and are very contrite. They apologize. They've apologized to my victim, like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. And, that makes a difference for me because it's like, okay, well, you've learned your lesson. This is a one-off. So, you still need to, make some restitution. You still need to do some community service.
Yeah.
But, at that point, it's not like, okay, well, do you need to have
I want to ask you a question. Do DA really want to always go to trial? Because I hear always saying, I got a plea deal for you. Why do a plea deal come before, even before all the evidence been presented? Y'all come with a plea deal so quick.
Just pure logistics, we can't take everything to trial. We just can't do it. We don't have enough people. We don't have enough judges. We just now got a spot for a 5th district court judge in Mobile County. That election cycle is coming up next year.
I think I need to run. You need a real dude on it. You don't need to be educated to be a judge.
There you go.
I know.
To his point, I want to talk about that. He said he want to run, but I already know his thinking. It's no nonsense. So, can you address like the revolving door issue we having with Mobile County?
So here's my
Is that more so the
take.
judges or just the court system?
It is a function of law. So in the state of Alabama, you are required to be given some type of bond if you are charged with a crime. Don't matter if it's but you have to. And there's some caveats to that. I'll get to that. But from a violation, which is a max 30 days in jail, all the way up to a Class A felony, you're by law, by the Constitution of the state and the United States, you can get a bond. The only time you forfeit that right is if you are out on bond and then you commit a new
crime.
Or now with Anaya's law, if a judge feels like based on your history, based on the offense, you are such a danger to society that you cannot be granted a bond. Now judges have that tool to say, okay, this is a special circumstance where this person does not need to get a bond.
I feel like that's unfair.
What is Anaya law for the ones that don't know?
So Anaya's law was recently passed last year. Again, it gives judges the ability to, after a hearing, our office, the DA's office, prosecutors, we have to put on evidence showing this person is a danger, this is what's going on. They should not be granted a bond. This is why. And Anaya's law came about because of a very horrific case up in East Alabama where a young lady was kidnapped and murdered by a guy who had a slew of charges prior to interacting with her.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And he was out on bond at the time when that happened. So based on that, her parents rallied the state legislature to get it on the ballot, and the great citizens of the state voted for it. And so now that's a tool that we can use to help us protect the community when we're dealing with somebody who could otherwise get a bond in certain situations.
Is there a way you can change that? Because like I said, I don't think that's fair. Like if Pookie go and kill like 3 people and he able to make bond, he come right back out.
Well, this is true, and this is why our office in particular, we scan cases to say, okay, is this a way where we can use this?
Right.
It is a tool, but it's not something to be used in each and every single case.
You can't, like on Law and Order, SVU.
Oh, God.
You can't you want them to be remand or nothing like that? Because some people really, like,
So remember I told you about TV in reality?
Oh, that ain't a real
That
word.
Now, you can be remanded, but
Yeah.
for our sake, when we say remand into custody, that means that you need to go into custody for whatever reason. You'd have violated your probation.
Come on, Dick.
whatever.
Well, get us the right terminology, man. Come on.
So, but when it comes to bond and the revolving door, I mean, I know me personally, I try my best to ask for high bonds, ask for what we call cash components, meaning that before you can even call a bonding company, you got to come up with a certain amount of cash, then call the bonding company for the rest.
Right.
Okay.
We try to use all of those tools, and sometimes judges will agree with us and allow it, sometimes they won't, and that's the system. That's the back and forth and the play that we do between our side and the defense attorney side. But again, the big overarching theme is we want to make sure that the community is safe.
Right.
We live here too. We work
Yeah.
here. Our kids grow up here, go to schools here. We want to make sure that we are doing what we can to make sure our kids are safe and yours as well.
So, with you being an assistant district attorney, does it get emotional with you sometimes? Like you have that first time kid that just messed up, and you know in your heart after talking to their parents and just talking to their friends that ain't that kid that's
But
being
you gotta
portrayed,
do
but
something.
you got to do something. Does it get emotional for you?
So I worked for 6 years at Strickland Youth Center as a prosecutor, and I enjoyed that position above all things. And there were definitely moments where you would have a case, have a trial, a child was found guilty, or as we call it, adjudicated. They're put on a program plan, but in the back of your head, if I'm sending them back to the same playground, the same playmates, the same playthings that they used to get this charge in the first place, nothing's going to change. I'm just giving them a Band-Aid for a wound that'll never heal. And so there were definitely some kids who, I've seen them grow up and become adults and be in my courtroom today that I'm just like, that's where the frustration comes in. That's where the angst of what could we have done? Is there anything we could have done? Is there something cultural we could have done to impact that child? I've had my moments of crime. Most of those came when I was prosecuting child sex abuse and child physical abuse cases.
Oh, that was ooh.
Those were the cases where I would, have to shed a tear or two.
Right.
I know what you
behind
mean by
closed
that,
doors.
because y'all have a whole. Well, when I was a lady that deal with them, but when she came and presented them cases, it's some sick people in this world that would do certain things to these young kids.
And it's not strangers.
It's people. That's the thing. It's the
not
family
strangers.
member.
Let me just be a PSA. It'll be your family members. I can't tell you how many cases of kids and fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters,
yeah,
uncles,
it's
aunts.
some sick people in the
It's
city.
not just strangers. It can be people that you trust, that you love, that you know, that you just don't think would ever harm your kids, and they do.
The stuff they
So-
do, sodomy. I found out what sodomy
Yeah,
means.
Yeah.
let me ask you about that. Since I know you did the district attorney.
Grand jury.
Grand jury one time. I never got a chance to do it. I always somehow to get out of it. But
2 weeks paid vacation.
but did it open your eyes to the amount of crap that was going on in the city of County Mobile?
Yeah, it is. It's like I told her, we got a booklet about that big, and we had to make the decision. Do we what we called it?
Was it hard to see it?
True bill, no bill.
True bill, no
After you
bill.
hear it, was it hard, or were you like,
Yeah.
oh hell no? Or it was
Yeah,
just,
because you
personal?
got can't how many people now, and we have to sit there and discuss. We'll do a 2 or 3 pages. Take notes, go back. Do you want a true bill, no bill? True bill is you indicting, you send it up, no bill, no charge, something like that. And you got everybody different opinion, but some of the stuff like assault.
Yeah, you kind of
And then we were like, well, I asked her it's the girl in Metro 9. She was like, yeah, I want to talk to her. So they brought her over.
Oh wow.
So we got to hear her side of the story. Self-defense. So I felt, and I made a point that, hey, this child don't need it. She don't have a record. She had one night of making a mistake, but she was defending herself.
Right.
So, but when we came down to them sex cases, dog, like she said, that was rough for me. But
Yeah.
I left out, I was like, God,
Yeah.
it's these motherfuckers crazy. They some sick people, man. And then I was like, ugh. And then Ashley Rich presented us a capital murder case. Dog, I don't know if she won that case or not, but she painted a picture. It happened right in front of LaFleur. I think that's what it was. I could visualize Donald Street.
Yeah,
I could visualize the house. And hearing the testimony of that child, And that was the hardest thing she had to do, try to convince the jury that this 3 or 4-year-old child giving accurate account.
Right.
But she told it so well, I was like, guilty. I told her, like, he guilty.
Yeah.
You presented the case so well, they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, kids don't lie.
Kids don't lie.
And
But
you
then
know-
you got a defense attorney that she was like, he gonna come back and da-da-da. But after hearing it,
And to your point, when you just said kids don't lie, that's something that I had to try to convince a jury of 12 people that.
Wow.
And some adults,
Couldn't
we
believe
were all children at one point.
Right,
You know,
right.
we know what it is to be a kid. And there were some adults who are just like, I just don't believe that child. I think they were coached. I think they this. And I said, you know, there are just some details of these cases where a child should not know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That how that works and
Exactly.
how that.
because
So-
I was like, really?
Yeah.
That baby said that?
Yeah.
At that age, shouldn't know nothing about that.
Right.
But it's, man, that really did something. That day, I was like,
Yeah. It's
it's
a lot.
a lot, man.
It's a lot.
They got a hard job. They
I
got
was
to
just gonna ask her that.
they got a
Did she-
hard job, 'cause they
did
gotta
she consider her
prove-
job hard.
prove without a shadow of doubt that they did it. Then you got the defense attorney saying, "Oh, he didn't do it."
So have you ever worked as a defense attorney?
Never.
Okay.
I
yeah,
wanted to
they
be a prosecutor since.
they
my
dirty.
first-
Dirty.
No, and let me just say this: I've wanted to be a prosecutor ever since my first year of law school.
Really?
Like, I
Where did you
took
go to law school?
The University of Alabama.
We knew that, y'all.
We knew that.
But ever since the first criminal law class I took, I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is what I want to do." My professor was a former USA attorney, U.S. attorney, and she used to tell us about all the fun cases she had. I was like, "Yep, this is it." And then I interned for the Tuscaloosa County DA's office 2 summers in a row for free. I didn't even get paid. I just loved it that much, and I got to try cases even in law school. That, you know, I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is my job." So no, I've never had a desire to be a defense attorney, but I will say this: I had some great friends who are defense attorneys. It makes a difference for all of us to be able to get along because
Yeah.
you know, we're talking like, okay, I know what your client's defense is, but let's just here's here's the video.
How can you
So-
like righteously be like, look, we know they guilty, but how you really like try to like go to bed and be like, yeah, they ain't guilty.
So I have some really good friends who are defense attorneys who tell me it's not so much about proving them innocent, it's about protecting their rights.
Man.
No, it is because God forbid if you either one of you ever end up in a situation where you need a criminal defense attorney, and if it's a situation where, you know, hey, you did the right, you did what you did, you just need to figure out a way to get it settled. You need somebody who's going to say, okay, look, we know he's guilty. What do you want to do? How do you want to resolve this? How do you want to?
Okay, so at that point, do you
That
want
would
a
have
deal?
made yeah.
At that point, it's like, okay, well, this is what they're charged with. This is the max punishment, but this is what we want to do, or this is how much restitution is due, or fines, or fees, or court costs. And we make it to where it's fair and equitable and just for everybody involved. And there are situations where, you know, I have attorneys that come in and are true believers. Their client didn't do it, and here we go. And I go. And I prosecute to the fullest extent.
So it
And-
really go down like that. They be like, yeah, we're gonna have a little meeting in the back, and they be like, look, we
Ray,
want a
Ray,
deal.
we know Ray,
Sometimes
Ray.
it's not even in the bag.
Right in front of the courtroom.
I'm in court, and they'll come over and be like, what do you want to do? Is your client here? Okay, cool. So my victim is here. We're ready, but if you'll do this, that, and the third, then, you know, we may be able to resolve it.
Wow, so
Talk
it's
to
really like that. Okay.
But that part is true. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That
I'm
is
like,
true on
And
Look,
it's
you're looking
helpful
at
for
about 10
everybody.
years. If you go ahead and cooperate and get it down to 8.
It's helpful for everybody because, like I told you, we just logistically
Don't
can't
have
try
the-
every
yeah.
case.
So is it the money issue, the amount of money it take on the manpower, or just manpower?
It
Period?
is money and manpower.
Okay.
So we need, you know, money to hire people to be able to do these. We need money for the extra space in the courthouse for more judges and staff to be able to do this. And, you know, the legislature has been good to us, you know, last couple of years, especially during COVID. But unfortunately, it's just not enough. And I don't know if it'll ever be enough for us to be able to prosecute the number of cases we need. We're dealing still with a COVID backlog. And while we have gotten the numbers down significantly, you know, we're still dealing with 2020, 2021 cases that are still waiting for trial.
Oh, wow.
And it's a situation where if these people truly want their trial, we got to give them their day in court. That's what they are owed as a part of this process that we all
Due
call
process.
America.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we try to do our best to do that, but at the same time, you know, things that we know can be resolved, let's just try to talk about a way to do it where it's fair to the victim, fair to the defendant, everybody walks away and nobody messes with each other again, and we're all good.
So what about the victim that feel like you shouldn't have offered them a deal? They should have went to trial.
So,
How do you explain that to them?
So sometimes you have to have hard conversations. You have to explain, this is what we got to prove, and if we can't prove it, that's going to be an issue. So let's figure out a way to resolve that in a manner that's going to allow you to, you know, feel like justice has been served, but we're not trampling over somebody's rights. And some victims understand it, some do not. And sometimes we have to say, okay, look, I'm making a hard decision. You're not going to like it. Here we go. Or I'm going to say, if you're telling me what is true, then I'm going to go forward and we'll see what happens. If the judge makes a decision or a jury makes a certain decision, we have to live with it and go on. You know, defendants can appeal. We can't.
Oh, let me ask you, this is her personal opinion. Well, the question I'm going to ask her is on her own personal opinion. It has nothing to do with who she works for. Time and time again, we've seen innocent black men get shot, innocent kids get gunned down on video, and the cops get off. What more proof do we have to show in order for a cop to get indicted on?
So that is a touchy subject. I will say this, though. When those situations do happen, it depends on the jurisdiction that you're in. So if it's Alabama or Georgia or Florida or wherever, whatever their laws are, whatever their policy and process is to investigate those officer-involved shootings, you know, it could be different than what we do.
Right.
In Alabama, you know, we take it through, it's investigated usually, depending on the department or the jurisdiction that you're in. It could go all the way up to the FBI. It could go to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. They will investigate. State Bureau will investigate depending on what type of case it is. And then, of course, a decision is made. And a lot of times, I don't know if you ever had a case while you were on grand jury like this, sometimes we take it to the grand jury and let them decide.
You know, back in that day, we
They ain't have cameras and all that.
Well,
Yeah.
we had cameras, but it wasn't as it is now. But it just...
Hell, even with the camera, they don't show all the stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you got proof. Right
Hell,
now.
with the camera, they don't even show all the stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and to your point earlier, when you said that you guys in the grand jury had asked for that particular defendant to come over
Yeah.
and testify, you guys are able to get any information you want. So if ever a case like that is presented, just like you had the ability, everybody that you served with had the ability to say, hey, I want to hear from X, Y, and Z, somebody has the ability to say that.
I
And
want to
so-
be on the grand
Well, you
jury.
want, I loved it, man.
And-
I would
I
love to go
and
back. I want to
here-
go to federal grand jury. They treat them better.
That is not true.
I don't. They pay better, I know. But
Well, I mean, you know,
I would love to do a federal
it's
grand
the
jury.
Feds, so yeah, they probably got a little bit more
They
money.
got a little bit more money.
Is your job hard? Do you get up in the morning like, let me go right
Here
here?
we go again.
These knuckleheads.
Your friend knows just how those mornings. As a matter of fact, Thursday morning was one of those mornings where I was completely like zoned out, and he was just like, "What's going on?" I said, "I got this case. I got a hearing on this case. It's going to determine whether or not it goes to trial. I got this trial coming up in the afternoon." I said, "I'm just focused on my questions and who needs to be there, making sure my witnesses are lined up and they're prepped and ready to go." And he's just like, you get in that mode, you just in the mode, and it's true. For stuff like that, I say, I do my mommy thing, I do my wife thing, but like at 8:00, it's like, I gotta
DA
focus.
now.
Yeah, I gotta focus on what's in front of me. But it can be hard. I will say that I am very conscious of leaving work at work.
I was just for to ask you that. How do you separate personal life and work life?
So for me, whenever it's 5:00, I'm in mommy mode. Okay, I gotta go pick up the girls, and I gotta go cook dinner. I gotta, if I gotta run errands and do stuff, for my husband, my other kids, I gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
And for instances like now when I'm on call, it's a little harder. That line is blurred, but this is only like 2 or 3 weeks out of the year where we all have to rotate this phone and do that.
Man, she got 2 phones up here. We sitting here praying when them jokes don't go out.
Please don't call
She
in.
like, yeah, y'all.
Hey, if you finna do something, please don't do it right now. Don't do it.
But for me, it's always been easy because I've been conscious of it ever since law school. We've had professors and teachers who have told us, be conscious of your personal life and your work life, because if you let them get together, it'll mess you up.
So, for somebody that might be aspiring to get into the law field, can you give us the process, like classes or like subjects you need to take, or when you get to college and be like, hey, you talk to your counselor and be like, hey, this what I need to do, and like give us the rundown of what we need to do if we want to get into that field.
So I will start all the way back at high school.
Oh,
If you
okay.
have an interest in law, the Signature Law Academy at LaFleur High School.
Yes.
Go Rattlers. I have worked with them since 2005 as a matter of, not 2005, sorry, 2015. As a matter of fact, I started a teen court program with their students in that year.
Yeah, they used to go down to the courthouse and listen to. I remember that.
Yep, and they would actually come over to Strickland on Monday nights, and we would do a whole court case with a real defendant, a real child defendant,
Wow.
real attorneys. You know, they were their mentors, and we had a real jury of, we say jury of your peers. These were kids who were sitting on the jury, and they got to make the decision on whether or not somebody was, as we call it in juvenile court, adjudicated or not adjudicated, or guilty or innocent, And that was truly one of my joys. I truly enjoyed my student. As a matter of fact, I saw one of them the other day in Walmart, and they just yelled my name across the parking lot. I was like, who is that? But I call them my babies. They're still my babies. All of them are in college. Some of them getting ready to graduate. I know one went to the Navy. All of them, show promise, and they're living that promise out.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in your Mobile area, Mobile County Public Schools, if you're interested in law, I would highly suggest getting into LaFleur, doing the Signature Law Academy. That is a top way to show your interest. It looks good on a resume, especially for college and beyond. But once you get into high school, do internships. We've had high school interns in our office. I know several attorneys around town who don't mind having high school interns, especially in the summertime.
Right.
They do runners. So basically, if you need something to go to the courthouse to be stamped and filed, that's what you do. And you learn how the system works.
Right, right.
So start in high school. When you get to college, a lot of people I know major in political science. That's a good, safe major for
So
law.
that is a good major.
It is.
Okay. Normally you hear people thought, I'm a political science major, but then they around here not putting it to use.
Not political and not a scientist.
Okay.
But for me, I majored in communications and information sciences. So for me, the reason why that worked is because I had to learn how to write in a way that gets my idea across, speak in a way that gets my idea across, and make sure that the emotion of what I say and what I write gets my point across. And that's what you do as a prosecutor. You got to talk to 12 people and convince 12 people that your witnesses are the right ones, that your victim is a true victim, that the evidence is what it is.
Y'all hear that, kids? Y'all have to talk and write.
You have to talk and write.
What I'm gonna use this for later on in life?
Hey,
you got to
but
talk
you
and
know
write.
what I'm
You got
sitting
to
here
talk and
thinking?
write.
Lawyers are the best finessers in the world because you got to finesse.
Yes, do.
You got to finesse a judge. You got to finesse 12
13
people.
It's not finessing, it's convincing.
Well, I'm speaking for the people that don't, that I'm speaking to them so they can understand. You want to be a lawyer or a judge, you got to be able to finesse these people.
Gotta have a
You
mouthpiece.
got to have that mouth. You got to be smooth. But I got another question for you. By you being a DA, do you feel do you have to worry about retaliation against the defendant family because you just slapped them?
Nah, because we stick together and see them. Hey, we stick together and see them.
To
Take
be
that how you
honest
want.
with you, no. I've had several close calls where I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go. But at the end of the day, like I tell people, this is my job. I love it. It is truly
It
a
seems like
calling
you
and a
love it.
passion. It is. But I don't take this personally. I don't hate you as a person.
See, that's why I think
I hate what you did.
I couldn't
and I
do
hate the
job.
crime that you've committed that now has impacted these people behind me.
And you got me up in here another caseload, another docket, because you want to do something stupid. But I like,
So-
do the DA, the head man, do he get protection?
You can. We do have investigators in our office who, in addition to investigating crimes, because we are a law enforcement agency, so we can investigate crimes on our own too.
Wow.
They
I
can.
did not know that.
I ain't know you
didn't
get a
know?
security detail.
You had no idea?
No.
So, yeah, we have investigators who are they're sworn law enforcement officers. In the state of Alabama, it's called being A post certified. So Alabama Police Officer Standards and Training. So once you are A post certified, you then can work in law enforcement, and they are A post certified. They can investigate. We've had several cases over the years. I'm sure you remember being here longer than I've been, since 2011. You know, the gambling machine things and all that. All of
Yeah,
those
John Tyson was on that whole.
Oh, he on that hard.
I mean, those are investigations that our office, can initiate and do and did. So, though people think that it's dangerous. It can be. You know, we've heard stories across the country of prosecutors being hurt and killed.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But
serious.
those are rare and far between, and I just kind of liken it to, all of us have a chance walking out the door tonight.
Yeah.
That, something could happen. So it's not any worse or better.
No.
It's not any worse, any better, but I do protect myself. I have protection.
Hey,
y'all know
we
my
stick
husband.
together in Sims. I keep saying it for a reason.
Y'all know my husband. You know,
Yeah.
he ain't finna let nothing
Yeah.
too crazy happen. So
Yeah, I'm just down the street. Yeah. Hey, just throw the hat in the hair. I see it.
And it helps, of course, being in Sims. We know all the police officers and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I was just about to
so-
ask you that. How many judges you got on your phone?
Everybody. Everybody.
How many detectives?
A good chunk.
Let's see. Hey.
It's because you work together for so long, you
Right.
do become friends. So, folks was at, my daughter's birthday party in February. People come to my wedding, things like that.
I asked you that because one of our friends, he was like, he worked for the FBI. He was like, yeah, I call her such right now. I'm talking about he had a list
Yeah.
of judges. He was like, if I need a warrant,
Yeah.
I can call a judge right now.
And you
get a
have
warrant.
to, because, for instance, somebody gets a DUI, you need a blood draw from, the hospital. You got to call a judge and get a warrant signed. So you got to be
because
able
you
to.
got because once they get in the hospital can refuse you from
Yeah.
taking that drug because
they
they
can.
under their care now.
Yep, they can.
So and then you only got a certain amount of time because now I learned that off of Chicago Med.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to say grand jury. I was like,
No,
yeah,
I learned that off
absolutely.
Chicago Med when Maggie got arrested
Oh, my
by
God.
that cop, that black cop. Like, I ain't like that, but then she ended up dying in a later episode. But hey, it is what it is.
Hey, has there ever been an instance where you known this person, they committed a crime, but you gave them a little leniency, and then they pop back up, and you was like, I knew I should have.
Should
A
have
lot of my kids, I call them my kids. A lot of my kids at Strickland,
Yeah.
especially now. Some of them have I've had the opportunity not only to prosecute them as kids and adults.
Wow.
And I've had one in particular I will never forget because it truly disappointed me because I know that this particular child came from a very rough situation, and we worked very hard with DHR, with the system, with probation officers to get this child out of this particular, position.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up in my courtroom as an adult. And I
really, bro?
I remember making a statement to the judge. I said, Judge, I've known this adult now. I've known this child since, way back at Strickland, and I just need to say that I am extremely disappointed because that child knows what we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To not have this day ever happen. And it's here.
Right. I think that would be
And-
heartbreaking for me too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It-
bro, I gave you a
It's just
chance, bro.
It's
And this how you
frustrating.
repay
Pay
me.
me, yeah.
It's so frustrating. And when I hear the names on the news, I can't tell you how many times, I've sat there and I'm like, golly.
That's why I
you?
watch the news.
Yeah.
I don't need that bad news in my life.
Yeah. I mean, it's for
It's
me,
sad.
It's a
for you.
job.
It's sad. And it's as a parent, it's sad too because it's like so many of our young kids are just throwing their life away for no reason.
Yeah.
For a split second
For a
decision.
split second decision, like I know the system need to be totally revamped.
I
But
don't really think it's
I
a
got-
lot of the system. It's the
It is because
parenting.
it's the parents, but
Yeah.
you got like one lady said, she made a good sense. These women, the government has a lot to do with it. The government give these women all these government assistance and all that. I'm gonna give you Section 8 house, but you gotta kick that man out. kick your baby dad out. They're gonna kick him out because they want all that government assistance. But then here come the government. I need my child back. Why they want their child? In the system. Because guess what? They make money off of them.
Yeah, and
It's
we
sad.
all know about the prison industrial complex
Yes.
and all that fun stuff. But
And I personally, if I had the money, I would have a prison.
Why?
Federal prison.
Why?
they make money.
They make money.
There are a lot of prisons that are
Privately owned.
I wouldn't have no prison. I had them jokers on the field. Hey, what's that state that's got the tent and they stay outside?
I think Texas or something like that.
I think
Is it
that's what they
Arizona?
need to go to.
Oh, the one outside. Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's Arizona, but I don't think they
you
have
don't
it
need,
anymore.
them jokers got cable, AC. You need to be outside in a tent.
Bro, it been over 100 degrees out there.
I don't give a damn. You think about that before you
But-
pull that trigger.
But
you
look,
think about that heat.
But look, just like she been saying, the word rights. Prisoners got more rights than a person that is free. You
Man.
can't touch a
Well-
they got too many rights.
So they have the same amount of rights that we all do.
Why?
We all got Sixth Amendment rights. We all got
Why?
Fourth Amendment rights.
Why?
You in jail.
So
You gave up your rights when you committed a crime.
no, not necessarily. And I'll tell you why. And
Here
I
we
know
go.
this sounds
Here
odd
she gonna
coming
be
from
in
me.
the ADA.
But-
Here she goes.
No, this is why I tell people I'm not just I am an ADA, I'm a prosecutor, I love my job, but I'm also focused on the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is way back in 1776, there's a document that, eventually enfranchised us that allows us to have certain rights. Those rights are life, liberty, and
Pursuit of happiness.
yeah, not really.
But that wasn't that when that document was signed, we was in bondage.
This is true, but now that we have those rights due to Civil Rights Act of 1964 and all that fun stuff, those rights are still ours, and they don't go away. The only time that the reason why it says life and liberty, that's why we have a judicial system, because we have to have due process to take either one of those two away from you, either your life or your liberty. And due process is the process by which we file a charge against you. You are arrested. You come before a judge. You get a bond. You're arraigned. You go to trial. You have 12 people decide your fate. All of
Everybody gotta have
that.
their day in court.
Yes, everybody deserves their day in court. Everybody deserves to be defended to the fullest extent of the law.
Y'all better be glad I
Everybody
ain't no
has those
judge,
rights.
because your ass will be up the river. I'm sorry.
I'm like you. That's why I say I need to run for that position. Do I have to have a law degree or something?
Yes, you do. You have to be an
Hart
attorney.
on Seuss didn't have a degree, and he worked for one of the major law firms.
You have to be an attorney in order to be a judge in the state of Alabama.
Man, that's crazy.
Now, there are other states where you don't have to have a law degree to be a magistrate judge. In South
Oh,
Carolina,
that's the
is one of
mad
them.
people.
No.
What's a magistrate judge?
So, a magistrate judge will make a decision on bond. And then this, like I said, this is normally.
I need a magistrate. I need to be a magistrate judge. Then.
Well,
Denied.
This happens in South Carolina. I have a South Carolina bar license and an Alabama bar license. So in South Carolina, it's people, I hate to say it, like the people off the street who can apply for this position, and they will say, hey, you get arrested. This is the kind of bond you should get, or this is what you should be charged with. And then it comes up to us now as prosecutors to deal with it. We're like, well, why would you make that decision? But that's how their legal system works. Every state is different.
Okay, and you practice law in Georgia, right?
South Carolina, Alabama.
South Carolina. Okay. So you know that dude 45, right?
We not going to talk about 45.
I want your opinion on 45.
The
you don't
only
have-
opinion I can give is he has federal charges, he has state charges.
Okay.
Man, that man ain't gonna see the inside of a jail.
I know he's not.
Those are two different animals, two different beasts.
And two different tax brackets.
Hey, free my president, bro.
What I will say is, Fanai Willis is an incredible prosecutor, incredible district attorney. I've had friends who have worked with her, worked in that office, and at the same time as we're dealing with all of this, the YSL trial is still going on.
Who?
YSL,
You know, Young Millie and them.
I don't-
YN Willie.
That's not necessary. I'm trying to worry about this dude.
You know the murder on my mind, dude. I got
care.
murder on
Gunna
my
and
mind.
Young
Yeah, I know
Slime
he
and all
deserves
that.
it because you put all your shit in your lyrics. So you deserve to go to jail, dummy.
But-
But I'm trying to figure out this dude has federal and state charges.
Yeah.
But for to be the
Bruh,
The
Trump would not see the inside
I
of a jail.
understand he won't. It's like I say, it's two systems. It's the black system and it's the non-melanated system.
That's
And he's in that top 1% where,
While I
He's gonna get a slap on the wrist.
understand your argument, I will say this: I would not look lightly upon Georgia. I think that whole RICO situation is very interesting from a very.
It is because she went after them rappers. That lady ain't no joke. She went after them rappers. Now she going after a former president, and she indicted 16 people.
No, it's 19 total.
19 people.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
So she buy her business. So I really don't want none of them to get out scot-free. They got to do something. That man know everybody in America know
Hey, man.
that man
Hey, bro.
did something.
Hey, bro. Teflon done.
Man, whatever.
Oh God.
Teflon
I
done.
will
That
say
bro is
just-
not gonna see the inside of a jail cell.
He might not.
Nah,
but
he
We'll
ain't gonna
see.
see it.
we'll see. But
He ain't gonna
But
see
you
it.
can't pardon yourself on state charges. So
I got a question for you though. Okay, ADA, do you have any aspirations for being district attorney?
yes, I was gonna
No.
ask you the same thing.
Why not?
Why not? You don't want to be the DA?
no.
Why
That's a
not? We could be
whole
the
lot of
first
stress.
black DA.
Yeah.
Shout out Moise.
Yeah.
That's just a whole lot of stress. That's a whole lot of
What's
midnight
more
phone
stress
calls.
than
That's a
being-
whole.
Oh yeah, you gotta. When a major crime comes, you do gotta go stand. in
Yeah.
front
Do
of
you
the
have to show
camera.
up then? Like if they have like made like the shooting for New Year's Eve, you would have to show up for that. Oh, okay.
That's,
You
that's a
remember seeing
whole-
Judge Tyson and Ashley Rich out there and they jackets
I
and
ain't
stuff?
see. I was at
Yeah,
work.
and I was about.
I was at work.
Well,
You was on the boat.
Yeah.
That's how I really came to know John Tyson. When he was a badass. Cause
He wasn't even district attorney no more.
when stuff went down,
stuff went
major,
down, yeah.
he was there. And he was, that's the bad. He was, we gonna get him.
Because when it comes to major stuff like that, you got to make sure from the very, very beginning,
You letting them know.
things are gotta move in a certain process.
Okay.
Things gotta go a certain way. So I say all that to say no. I'm very much a proponent of work-life balance. I love my job. I love what I do right now. This is, being in the ADA is truly my goal, my calling, my higher calling. And I appreciate the ability to, leave and come back 3 times at this particular office. But because I loved it so much, and this was the first true job I got out of law school.
Oh, wow.
I came down here in 2011. I didn't know anybody. I was just like, I like Mobile. I like seafood.
Yeah, and then
And my
they
birthday is
turned
around
up-
Mardi Gras.
And
so-
then it turned up on you like, damn, crazy. They keep me busy.
And I, said, hey, I want to make my life here. And now, 12 years later, married and have kids, and I'm doing what I said I was going to do.
We'll revisit this question later on. You might change your mind to be a DA. I mean, that would.
I
be
don't know. The
fun.
last election, bro, it seemed like they had Ashley Rich seemed like she had like who she wanted to.
You want to
Well,
know
I mean,
why?
obviously, you endorse the people
You
that
know,
you
I
Yeah,
wanna
she,
know
it
why?
seemed like she wanted. Wow.
Because Ashley Rich was that lady. She was that lady.
Yeah.
She spoke people. Shit happened.
And
Yeah,
let me
but the
say-
dude we got now don't seem like he that like she was.
Yes, he do.
Yes, he do. He just
I ain't-
quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
well,
He
yeah, I
just
ain't
quiet.
see- Yeah,
hey,
you-
Yeah.
hey, he would be
Do
like,
not.
let me tell you.
not. And
He would be like, don't even worry about this, but he like, this one right here. I'm gonna need y'all to
pay attention.
pay attention.
Yeah.
And he like, listen. He was
Yeah.
like, listen. So he, like I say, I learned a lot being on grand jury. I promise you, I learned a lot. You learn the different charges. I can't remember, but first degree, this like hitting somebody, putting a bruise, 90 in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta watch when I hit my trend. Did I leave a bruise?
I will say this. When I was in law school, I actually interviewed with Mr. Tyson. Didn't get a job at that point. And then came back later on to interview with Ms. Rich, and that's how I got the first time I was, got my job. And one of the many folks that, as a matter of fact, one of the folks that I interviewed with in that room was Mr. Blackwood. He was one of the folks that interviewed me. So this
Wow.
is like,
He's an
12 to
Auburn
13.
man, and we Auburn
Oh,
fans.
okay. Well, he
He's
cool.
cool.
Man. He cool, man.
And he came in there
just
with his
soft-spoken.
fluent. Yeah, he
Yeah.
came in his Auburn town. I like, yeah. So I wore me an Auburn shirt the next day.
I will say
Yeah.
we definitely give each other a
I know
whole
you
lot of
do.
ribbon when it comes to the Iron Bowl, especially for the kick six and all of that.
Yeah.
That was a lot. But
And 1 second will hunt y'all forever.
oh, whatever. He was
Damn.
out of bounds. Chris
I'm
Davis
glad
was
you
out of bounds.
explained like that y'all had like multiple district attorneys because you would see these people pop up on the news and be like assistant district attorney such. So I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had like multiple.
Yeah. He can't do everything.
No,
so you got people under him.
You got
I
to
got you.
you got to spread it out, and that's why we have I think close to 40 now, which is the most I think we've ever had.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Let me ask you a question. How many of those are black women?
Myself and one other.
Wow.
Yep.
How many are black men?
We have one
Who
gentleman.
is that? Hollis?
No.
He's a judge. Isn't he? Tim Hollis.
Hollis?
What's his name? He just became a judge like last 2 years. He's an Omega. I forgot his name. See, I don't be
You talking
getting
about
it.
Marcus Fox?
Is his name? Got gray hair, kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. That's what I'm
Okay.
talking about.
Yeah, he's-
I don't be getting in trouble, so I don't be going
Yeah,
talking to the judge. So, hey.
Marcus is actually a defense attorney, but he was appointed to handle special cases in municipal court.
Okay.
So when I worked for the city, I actually had him as a judge and as a defense attorney.
Wow. Okay, then.
So that's something that you can do in municipal court, especially. You can be a judge and handle certain cases, certain dockets, and still maintain a practice as a defense attorney. Unfortunately, we can't do that. But yeah,
You want to go back to school, be a judge?
I have no desire.
Why?
She like
I
what
just
she had,
don't.
man.
I really
but I don't
don't.
like the fact that
I
it's only one black DA did ADA and 2 female ADA.
Well, I mean,
To the ones that's at LaFleur, that's in the law program,
and that's what I was getting ready to say.
please, to fight hard. Fight hard and do what you got to do.
And just because you black, don't
Don't
mean you going to get lenient. Because,
Yeah.
hey, these folk got to do a job and uphold
and
the
we
law.
need more.
The
we need
law
more
is
of us.
above your blackness.
Yes.
That's just point blank, period.
We need more of us in these type of positions.
I will say that one of the things I have run into when I tell people what I do for a living, you work for the man. No, not necessarily.
She
The
works
law
for
is
the
the law.
taxpayer, so she
Right.
works for.
I work for you. You are a citizen of the state of Alabama. You are a
Yeah.
citizen of Mobile County. I work for you. You are the people that put, my
Yeah.
money in my pocket, my
Yeah.
paycheck, and therefore I am beholden to you.
Yeah.
And as a result, this is the job that I have been sworn
To do.
because we have to swear when we get these positions.
She's just trying to
I'm
keep
sworn
our
to do.
property taxes low and value of our houses. Because a house, if you in a bad
No, we
crime,
want
man,
your property taxes to go up. That means
no,
that
we need mine to go down.
it,
We want the value of your house to go up because if
Exactly.
you in a bad area, you ain't gonna have no resale value. So you don't say she worked for the man. That is just.
But a lot of kids are steered toward being defense attorneys, and I get it. I understand it, especially in light of 2020 and all the upheaval that we've all seen and been through. I get it, but on the flip side of that, I tell people all the time, you can do justice in this position too. Sometimes
Yeah, I don't
justice.
think I could be a defense
Me
attorney.
either, cause
Yeah.
you did
I
what?
don't think-
Why I can't tell these
And
people
they,
lie for you?
and they gotta literally
It's a
tell,
lie.
like your client gotta tell you, yeah, I killed him, but you gotta try to get me off.
I mean,
What?
If anything, if I was to pursue that, I would love to been a federal prosecutor. Because I'm fit to lock you up because you're not fit to make stuff hard for good, hard-working people.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a defense attorney, hey, that's on you. But I cannot, honestly, sit here and defend somebody that I know in my heart.
Right.
Nigga
You-
did
you-
this. And then when I get up to my Lord and say, Trey Sean,
Yeah, how you answer
how
for
you
that?
gonna answer for that?
So it's like I told you earlier. It's not so much trying to get them off. Are your rights being upheld by this court, by this prosecutor, by this system? If they're not, then there are ways to rectify that. And sometimes that does mean up to and including, hey, you're not guilty. It depends.
Wow.
It's all about making sure for defense attorneys are my clients' rights, have they been violated before I got into it? Are they being violated now? Making sure they're not violated as this process
You
goes
saying
on.
rights before you talking about when he got arrested by the police
Yeah,
officer.
sometimes we have situations where it's like, okay, look, can't do that, and because we got this evidence this way, we can't present it. We have nothing to present. We have nothing to go on.
I heard a story of the arresting officer forgot to sign such and such, or misspelled one word or something, and the whole case get kicked out because of technicalities.
Technicalities can happen, but we tend to catch those. So if it's a situation where it's one word off or the wrong name, I've had several in my career where it's like, so that's not his name. So because that legal charging document does not say that person's name, we have nothing to go on.
Wow.
So you either have to amend it or you got to start all over again. It happens.
I already know if I get pulled over and I gotta go, they gonna misspell my name. They gonna put that E
God.
before that. Hey, that ain't me.
Yeah.
That is not me. My name is Michael.
You know what I mean.
Nope. A before E.
And that's why you use date of birth and socials to confirm identity. That right there.
That, Let me ask you this question, because you see a lot of videos on social media. Pull over by the police officer. can I see your ID? Do we legally have to identify ourselves to them?
You can, if you don't do it the right way, you can get an obstruction of justice charge.
You tell us the right way. We'll tell our because I don't need everybody out there.
I will say this: if they ask for your ID or insurance, just
Man,
comply.
just give them the damn
Just comply.
just give them the information.
Like, I mean, I was in a situation, little boy ran away from home, and he ended up on my back porch.
Oh,
And I took him home, and I just did my neighborly duty as we do in these nice suburbs. We look out for each other. So I'm getting back in my car. This big house, can I get your ID? I ain't do that.
but
I need it for the report.
exactly, and that's
$2,000.
exactly.
And I said just like this. I didn't hear nothing about no reward money, so I'm finna go home.
But see, I need you to be a good citizen next time because
I did because
when
Right,
I'm sitting in my
info, they do
office,
that
he
all the
did,
time,
but he
bro.
intimidated me. He was a little bigger
when
than
I'm
me.
sitting in my office and I'm looking at a case file, and I'm like an anonymous tip, and I'm like, oh, really? I get it, but that's the key. That's the person I need, and there's no way for me to ever
But he
get
just
that
came.
person.
He a big dude. I'm big, but he came up. I need your ID. Man, I ain't do nothing. I just did. Brought the little kid back home. I'm finna go back home.
You could have been getting a war reward.
I ain't getting
later
nothing.
on.
I gave him my information, but I ain't heard nothing else about it. The mama ain't even thanked me, man. The daddy did. The mama did. You know what I'm saying?
But that brings me to a good point. I'm glad you said that. We truly do have an epidemic of, I don't want to snitch. I don't want to be involved in all of this.
Yep.
People have got to understand the things that we see happening in our community right now will continue until somebody
Until
says
somebody
stop.
say something.
I'm gonna tell y'all like
And
this.
you got to be involved. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
I know it's scary. And for a lot of people, you live in these same communities where you're like, I got to go back home and lay down. You go to a whole different part of this town than I do.
See 'em.
And I get it. I get it. But this is going to continue to happen until somebody is brave enough to say, I'm done. I'm over it. I want to be able to sleep at night. I'm going to tell what I know, and hopefully it'll make a difference. Because we want
Snitches
that.
get immunity from prosecution.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but
No,
you'll be
not all
home
the
for the
time.
holidays before. I'm gonna hold it down for the
Yeah, but
block.
ain't nobody gonna mess with you.
Who cares? Who cares? That's the mindset.
The
You
hood
would
care.
not, that is not your hood. That belongs to the city.
And that's another
That's
mindset
that's
that has to
mindset is
break.
stupid,
The
man.
hood
It's got
kill.
to break.
Man, they gonna hold me down.
No,
Nah,
no, they won't.
Nah.
I can't tell you how many cases I've had where these two committed a crime together, and now later on down the road, they committing the crimes against each other.
Man, hey,
Like,
we gotta get
you-
us a detective on the show
Yeah.
because it'd be so funny. You watch First 48,
Yeah.
and they be in there, but like, hey, yeah, we got the information, and they give you that pity part. They be like, look, man, look, I understand things just didn't go right. Just be
just
be
tell me,
upfront
just
with
tell
me.
Dude,
DeAndre shot him, man.
That's all technique. They go to school to
learn
learn
how
all
to
that.
do that.
They
Hey,
learn how
Once
to do
again,
We
you
gotta
want to
get
be
us
a
a detective
lawyer,
on, bro.
you want to be a detective, you want to be a judge. You gotta learn how to finesse these people because y'all dumb and get in that room. They will finesse
Go
you with a
spill in the
salad,
milk.
go spill in the milk. But I'm
Go
telling you
spill
like
the
this:
milk.
don't commit a crime with me before the police even come. That nigga did it, and I'm gonna tell who and where it came
Oh,
from.
gosh.
I'm not taking no charge for no. I won't even take a charge for my own children. So I know I'm not gonna take a charge for a homeboy.
He gonna do it. He gonna do it. Hey, before we get up out of here, oh my God, it's an hour already.
Oh man, yeah, it's a good conversation.
Before we get up out of here, we always ask our guests, what you want to get off your chest. Just get off your chest, mama. Like something you want to get off your chest, or inspirational message, or something you just been going through with a personal thought. Like you want to get off your chest. So we're gonna ask you right now what you want to get off your chest right now.
I think the main thing for me is we all deserve to live in a safe community,
Yep.
violence-free community. And we can't just keep thinking, oh, that only happens over there or that only happens over here. No, it's countywide. And as long as we continue to have that mindset of burying our head and saying it's going to continue, if we want our kids to grow up, if we want them to be safe, we want them to have, schools they can go to and feel safe in, we all have to do our part.
Yep.
And
Sure
for my
do.
part, I do mentoring, I do speaking at schools. Big Brothers Big Sisters is a huge program that I am truly invested in. So if you are not a part of it, please join. I've been doing it since college, so over almost 20 years. I truly believe in mentoring programs because that is the key. When kids see examples of others living different lives than them, and they have the ability to say, I can live that life,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
That helps.
Okay.
That makes a difference. So please get involved.
That's
These
what's up.
kids, our kids, needed.
That's what's up. That's a good one. I want to get off my chest in light of everything we've been talking about. We've been kind of lenient on our kids as parents, man. I think that's where a lot of the issues we have with crime in our city coming from. These kids don't have no outlet, nothing to do, no guidance, and no repercussions. We trying to be our kids' friends instead of being their parents. Cause I know back in the day, coming up, my mom used to beat my ass, and that's just point blank period. I can count on one hand how many, what my daddy gave me, but my mama, she whooped ass. And I think that's what we missing in today's society. We don't hold our kids accountable. We trying to be our kids' friends instead of disciplining them.
Yeah, I was gonna say doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what we leading astray. So I want to get off my chest. It's okay to beat your kid's ass to a point.
Don't leave a bruise. A bruise get you a year up.
But make your point. Hey, beat their ass, but make it known. I was here.
Lord.
To where before they commit anything or do something stupid, that punt you was beating the ass on. Oh, I better not do that because my mama would, Yeah, that's all I got to get off my chest.
What I got to get off my chest, it was a great episode. I really liked
Real
it.
good
It was a
episode.
really good episode. Me, personally, as a black father, and if you're a father, you made a baby, I don't care what that lady did to you, you need to figure out some way to be in your child's life in a positive way. If you out here gang banging and you out here doing that's you only gonna end up in two places, the cemetery or the jail cell. But you really need to be in these kids' life. Mm-hmm. Now I'm in my kids' life. Am I a good father? No. No.
You're a great father, bro.
No. Be honest with you. I had my children. I told them, be honest with me, and they told me some stuff that I was doing that I needed to fix, and that shit hit hard. I was like, damn. Y'all laughing, but you need to let your children, let them express
That mean you a
Yes.
bad father.
I
No,
mean,
it don't mean you're
man.
bad.
I'm just saying, I'm in my kids' life, and I'm on my son's ass like flies to shit. Because I cannot, and I'm putting this out here, and it's going to be on the web. I will do time in jail if one of you people try to take my only son's life. That's the only right thing to do. I might hang up in her courtroom. She might be prosecuting me. And I ain't gonna waste no time.
Well, you get a good deal.
I just did it.
No, he won't.
Nope, because I'm confessing now. You killed my son, it's a wrap. It's a wrap because that's my only son. But I'm gonna fight to the death not to let that happen.
Yeah.
Because my dad, he was there. He wasn't there. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I want to be that. I'm that dad that, hey, come here. I'm gonna knock 5 from you in a minute if you don't get your shit together. But other black men out there, even white men, I'm talking to you too. We gotta do better as fathers in these kids' life because I know she tired of seeing them.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about it. If I see your child acting up in the street, I'm gonna correct them. I ain't gonna put my hands on, but I'm gonna talk to them.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta start doing. You see somebody acting up, hey, young man, come here. Nigga, this the Oscars, you putting music on me now?
My bad, dog.
God,
I was trying to fade it in.
But that's all I had to get out, man. The executive producer, I need to wrap this up.
Keep going.
But for real, though, that's my boy, though. Look, we really got to do better as fathers and these kids. Like, it fall on us. It don't fall on the mother, but it fall on us.
Right.
We the kings, so let's start acting like kings. That's all I got to get out my chest.
I ain't mean to
Now
get
you-
it.
Damn, that mother lie. Like, come on, man.
I was trying to fade it in, but it ain't work that way. Hey, babe, y'all go ahead and like, subscribe our YouTube, man. Facebook, y'all can find us on there. B-Side Podcast 251, y'all can find us on there. We on there. We back now. We back recording. You ain't gonna be getting the episode every week. Probably be every 2 weeks, but hey.
But if you're a Mobile County, Mobile Police Department, sheriff, deputy, detective, come on to the show so we can talk to y'all
Yeah, we wanna
about
talk to the detective
how y'all
for
get
sure.
these dudes to just bust out crying in the interrogation room and stuff.
Sure want to talk to her. We want to thank ADA Crummie for coming on. I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
We already know Alabama ain't what they used to be. So
Yeah.
what you think Alabama gonna do this?
Yeah. Seriously, come on. We took one of y'all recruits. Come on. Come on. It might get a little frosty now. We got frosty now.
I'm seeing 3 losses. I ain't gonna lie to you.
3?
Yes,
losses.
and I can name them right now.
I'm seeing 3
I can name them
losses.
right now. First of all, you're gonna lose against Texas.
No, we're not. No,
Cause
we're
you should have
not.
lost last year against
No.
Texas.
Nope.
Okay, you got Texas.
Got LSU.
You got that's LSU, and you're gonna lose
Doubtful.
the Iron Bowl.
There you go.
You're gonna lose the Iron Bowl.
We're going in all the ways to the national championship again.
The Whites like I did last year, cause you gotta go get them people over there in Georgia, them dogs.
Yup.
You gotta meet them in the SEC if you make it to the SEC
we
championship.
will.
Nah.
We
Hey,
will.
3 losses.
3 losses.
3 losses.
You heard it from the B-side. 3 losses.
Hey, the B-Side Podcast. Man, y'all lock in and subscribe to us, man.
Yeah.
YouTube, we gonna go live, I guess, one of these weeks.
Yeah.
Probably next week.
Almost.
Yeah.
All right, man. With B-Side Podcast, y'all hanging out with us.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all later.
3 loss season.
3 losses.
3? No, we are
lost.
not losing 3. No.
Texas.
No.
LSU and the Iron Bowl. Maybe 4. Might lose against Texas A&M. You never know.